Hello everyone and welcome. Are you ready for some Christmas crafting? I sure am. I have several wonderful Christmas DIYs to share with you today. There's so much here, you're going to want to grab a notebook and pen to take notes. Let's go ahead and get started. You're going to need the center of a deco mesh roll. This one happens to be about 6 inches in length. You just want one that's a little firm. And then we're also going to need one of these wooden plaques that you can pick up from Dollar Tree. They have several different ones, different sizes and different shapes to choose from. This one is a 5x7, and I'm really happy with this size because there's a lot of little decor I want to put on the bottom. So the first thing I want to do to these guys is I'm going to give them both a good coat of white paint, and I'm just going to be using the Apple Barrel white paint. I have both of my pieces fully painted. They did take 2 coats. We're going to start to assemble. I want to attach this to the base of my mailbox first because I want to make sure I get that positioned correctly. And to attach everything, I'm going to use a combination of hot glue and Crafter Square craft glue. This dries clear. I really like this. It gives a really nice hold and it is tacky, so things will hold together a little bit before it dries. And I'm just going to add one more bead of hot glue right around the base. Doesn't that look adorable? And now the fun part starts, decorating. Now the first thing that I'm going to place for my decoration is this really cute little snowman ornament that I found at Dollar Tree. I just went ahead and trimmed off the hanger that was at the top. But I think he is so adorable. And I want him right in the front, placed on one side. Just like that. And so I'm going to hot glue him into place. Doesn't he look adorable? Now I pulled out a couple picks that I picked up from Dollar Tree. I absolutely love these. The main reason why I picked these out is because of the different types of greenery that they have. And I really like the pine cone. So on this one, I'm going to go ahead and trim off the pieces that I want to use. And I really like this one because it has flocked greenery. That's why I pulled this one out. And I really like this little bauble. I might use that as well. So here on the back side, I want to place some greenery. So I'm going to mix all of the greenery that I just cut off of those 2 picks and start gluing them around the back here. And I'm just going to glue the base down. To give me a little bit more space to glue, I'm just going to bend it so it's an L shape. Add my hot glue and place that. You just need to hold it for a little bit until you know that it's set in place. I got my greenery on. I'm really happy. I did add the red berries there in the back. And And now I've decided I'm going to go ahead and add this red bauble. I really like it. I want this to look really pretty all the way around. So I'm going to put this here in the back. Looking good so far. Very sweet. I also have this really pretty stem of glittered fern or flocked fern. I'm going to go ahead and add a few pieces of this as well. I really like this part that has the little bushels on it. So I'm going to add some of these. Give it a little bit more of that flocked look. I went ahead and added the other pine cone here on the other side. And I wanted a little bit more greenery on this side, so I took one of the green ties and I cut it up and added a few pieces. And then I used the glittered eucalyptus that was on one of the picks. So I'm really pleased with that. And now the final item that I want to add to my little mailbox here is this ornament you can get from Dollar Tree. It says Merry Christmas. And I want to glue this right in the front here like this. I think this is the perfect final touch to add to this little tabletop decor. And there you go, we are all done. I think that ornament was the perfect touch to finish off our tabletop decor. To get started on today's project, you're going to need a package of the Believe laser cut words. You can pick this up in the Crafter Square section and you get 2 pieces in a package. You will only need 1. And then you're also going to need a nice dark blue based red. I'm going to be using Folk Arts Lipstick Red. This is 437E Lipstick Red. This is their matte finish in superior coverage. I have 1 good coat of red paint here on my laser cut word Believe. I'm going to set this aside and let it dry, and then we'll move forward with the rest of the project. Next, you're going to need one of these hanging wall decor. You're also going to need some of the red and black paper vinyl and some of the black faux leather that you can pick up in the Crafter Square section in Dollar Tree. I believe this is 12 inches in diameter. Here on the round, you want to find the center. I just kind of eye it, and you want to measure. This is just under 12 inches in diameter. You want to come down to approximately 7 inches and make a small mark. And just do the best you can to get it level with the 2 holes at the top where you're going to be hanging your sign. And then where you made that mark at 7 inches, you want to just draw a line across. And then just make sure it looks even. Now the line divides between the pattern that we're going to put at the top and the pattern that we're going to put at the bottom. You just need to make sure that your Believe or whatever word you've chosen is going to fit on the bottom portion. For my top portion, I'm going to do this really pretty bright and cheery red and black buffalo check. You get plenty on this roll. You just want to measure so that you have about an extra half an inch on either side, and then trim your piece. I love that it's a check because it makes it easy to cut off a nice straight piece. So now I'm just going to line it up. I have my line on the front here so I can see it. I'm going to measure that along the bottom, make sure I have my space on either side, and then I'm going to just trace that. You want to cut this out, but you're going to need to leave yourself an extra ½ inch of space all the way around. I also picked this little tool up from Dollar Tree. It's kind of a faux Cricut tool. I really like it. It works well when you're working with this stuff. So we are going to be placing this on our wood. This has good adhesion, so you don't need to worry about using anything else on it. And the reason why we left that extra ½ inch is so that we can tuck it around the back. I like to lay it down, make sure I have my placement. So I'm going to start here in this corner. Kind of peel and tuck back some. Once you get some of it done and in the right position, go ahead and start to slowly pull and lay the rest down. You get all those little air bubbles worked out. Now here along the edge, just take a pair of scissors and do a little snipping about every inch or so. This will help you wrap it around and get a nice, clean, smooth wrap. Once you have all your little snips, just go through one by one and move that smoothly to the back. And there you go. I think that looks very pretty. Everything is nice and smooth, and that allowed me to get that down. And even my edge is nice and covered. I have this cute little tool. It comes in handy quite often. You need something long, pointy, and sharp to poke through the holes here. And you really want to do it from the front to the back if you can find the holes. Just kind of push through and twist. That way it'll look nice and clean if you can push from the front to the back. Now we're going to be laying down our faux leather. This is very nice. It's super thick. I absolutely love it, especially since it's only $1.25. Now you want to come up a little further than the line here because we are going to be folding that top piece over. So I'm just going to come up one more little block there. And again, you want to make sure you have at least a 1/2 inch on either side. Okay, that looks good. Flip that over. The white pencil, I think it'll be a little easier to see that. Trim it out, and again, you want to leave at least a 1/2 inch. Actually, it looks like that's a nice clean line, and I'm not going to need to fold that over. So that's good. I like that. Now to attach this to my wood, I'm going to be using this glue stick. This is an Avery brand, but Dollar Tree also makes their own glue stick. You can use that as well. Put down a nice even coat of the glue over the entire surface of where you're going to lay down your faux leather. Line that up the best you can, lay it down, and press out any air bubbles. Start from the center and work your way out. In the back here, go ahead and do your little snips and glue it down. And there you go. That looks so pretty. I absolutely love that black leather against that bright red and black check. I've gone back and reattached the hanger. Here on the back, I always add a little bit of hot glue to make sure that that stays secure. Now I have some black 5/8 of an inch ribbon. I'm going to place that right in between the two. I like that. It looks like it's a little cuff, and that is the look I'm looking for. Leave enough on either end so that you can wrap it around to the back. If you enjoy hauls, crafts, and learning new craft techniques, please consider subscribing to my channel. I do upload new content every week, and if you hit the notification bell when it pops up, you'll be one of the first to know every time I upload new content. Next, we're going to attach our word believe. I want to place it right in the center down here. I love how it stands out so much off that black background. Absolutely adorable. We're going to make a bow for a sign now. This is the ribbon that I've chosen to use. I picked this one up from papermart.com. It is 2.5 inches by 10 yards. It's called Christmas Floral, and it was $5.45. You want to cut a piece at 21 inches. And I have a piece here cut. I also have a gold pipe cleaner. It matches the ribbon. So we're going to do a quick hand-tied basic bow. So I just find the center, scrunch that together. I don't want my tails to be very long. I only want them about 3 inches. So I will pinch there and pull that to the center. And again, I will pinch 3 inches from the end and bring that to the center. Okay, so check your bow, your loops. Wrap your pipe cleaner around to the back and give it a good twist. Go ahead and pull your tails down and open up your loops. I always like to hold my bows right in the center where the pipe cleaner is. That way I make sure I don't over pull and end up pulling it apart by mistake. I've done that in the past. There you go, nice, cute little basic bow. Now I do want to dovetail my ends here. I just fold them together, cut from the folded down to the wired edge. Just what I wanted. I have this bag of greenery and little bits of berries and some pine cones. I picked this up at Joann's at the end of the season last year for Christmas. These normally retail for $9.99. I got it for like $2. So I was really happy to find these. It's always so hard for me to find really nice greenery. Now the package does come with quite a bit. You get 2 pine cones and they are on wire. You get 2 stems of these berries. They also come on wire. And then it looks like you get, let's see, is that 3? Yeah, it looks like you get about 3 different types of greenery in there, which is really nice. I'm going to be using some of this greenery on our Christmas wall decor. I think our bow came out really pretty. It's going to look gorgeous once I get everything on. But before I attach it, I want to put down some greenery. I really do like that this has several different types of greenery in it. So I'm just kind of laying down a little bit of each of the greenery to see how it looks. See if I want to use them all. Like these look kind of big. I don't think I'm going to go for those. But I do like those. And I think the berries and the bow, I think that'll be good. Okay. I'm going to be using the wires that come with these little picks to secure them together. That way when I go to glue it down to the board, I won't need to use as much glue to get it down. So I'm just wiring the two together. And now I'm going to add one of each of these on either side. And the good thing about these, bend them, get them to go the direction that you want them to. Okay, so I have 4 pieces of the greenery wired together. I'm going to cut this one off. That there. So I like that placement. Once I put my bow on, you'll still be able to see the berries. And this also has wire on the end, so I'm going to use that to attach it to the bundle. Once you have it the way that you like it and you know where you want to place it, go ahead and glue it down. Now I'm going to place my bow right on top. I think I want to add a little bit of greenery right there at the top. Take one of these and cut some smaller pieces and stick them in the hot glue there. Now the final item that I'm going to add is one of the pine cones, and I like to put that right in the center of my bow, just like that. And here you go, I have everything in. Now I was looking at this and I do like it, but I think it needs just a little bit more greenery. So I pulled out 2 more pieces of the greenery. I think it needs just 1 more piece on either side. Kind of like that. Yeah, it needs just a little bit more, so I'm going to glue in 1 more on either side. And there you go, we are all done. I'm very pleased with the end result. I think that little bit of extra greenery really brought it to the next level. Now I'm going to be using this paper pad that I picked up from Michael's. I pulled out these 2 sheets of paper out of this book. I'm going to be using this up here, so I'm just going to cut this out the size that it is, and then this is going to be my background. Now I picked up this frame from Dollar Tree. This is a 5x7. This is silver and it has the little bit of white matting. I chose this one because I can either keep the matting or I can take it out, so it gives me more options as to the size. Okay, so then I just simply taped. I used double-sided sticky tape and I placed it right into the center. And there you go. You have a beautiful piece of framed artwork that was very easy to put together, and it's custom for you. Now I have another Christmas hack for you, and I picked this up from Dollar Tree. I think it is really cute just the way that it is. But to bring that up and make it look a little bit more high-end, all you have to do is add a little bit of a bow. I just tied it around the neck, added a little greenery, some red berries, and a small pine cone. Now when you do this, you can't use a real candle. You need to use one of the automatic tea lights. But look at how cute that is. What a big difference between plain with no bow and what it looks like with a bow. You're going to need one of the large fishbowl vases and one of the smaller fishbowl vases from Dollar Tree. You're also going to need a package of the white round styrofoam, and you're also going to need one of these fuzzy microfiber dust mop heads. Okay? So the first thing that you're going to want to do is go ahead and cut your dust mop. Now if you turn it over, you can see on the back they have stitching. You'll want to cut it right down the middle of the stitches. This stitching is what keeps the fuzzy stuff on, so if you cut on that or too close, all your fuzzy stuff will come off. So you just want to cut it right down the middle, and then you'll want to pull over the fuzzies and then trim off any excess white. Make sure not to hit the stitching. So you should have two pieces. So if I turn it over, you can see that I trimmed right here on the far side of the stitching. So I have two pieces like this. Okay? Now we're going to take this bowl and it's going to go on top of the white round. That's going to be our base. And I want to cover this with the dust mop so it looks like snow. Hot glue the large bowl to the styrofoam. Now hot glue doesn't usually work too well on glass. That's okay. I don't need this to be permanent. I just want to hold it down while I finish the craft. Okay, then we're going to take the dust mop and we're going to glue this to the bottom and fold it in and glue it all the way around. Now it will take about 1.5 of these pieces to get all the way around. Okay? So get your glue gun. I'm going to start on the side here. And you want the end that you cut to be on the inside. Okay, so I just put some hot glue there on the side and I'm getting the bottom glued. Okay, I'm all done with the base. I think it looks great. It looks like he's sitting on a pile of snow, which is exactly what I was going for. Now you're going to need a couple pieces of styrofoam. You can take the other one of the round and cut it, or if you have small pieces, that'll work. They need to be able to fit down inside each of the fish bowls. Okay, so we're going to start on the bottom one. And then you're also going to need some of the figurines from the Cobblestone Village that you can pick up at Dollar Tree. Now I picked up 2 packages. One package had Mr. and Mrs. Claus and a little snowman. And then the other package that I picked up had 2 carolers and a well. So I'm going to be using the 2 carolers, Mr. and Mrs. Santa, the snowman, and then a couple of these small mini Christmas trees that you can buy in a package of 8. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hot glue my figures onto this piece of styrofoam and then place it inside because I need these to be lifted because I'm going to fill the bottom with snow. So you just want to play with them for a little bit until you get the design and how you want them to be laid out. Kind of want my Santa on one side, Mrs. Claus on the other, and then a little tree in the back. Okay, so I have my 3 little figures glued down. I like that. And now I'm going to hit a little bit of glue on the bottom and place it inside the glass. Again, this is just to hold it so it doesn't go all over the place. And then you're also going to need 1 package of faux snow. Now Dollar Tree carries 2 different kinds. It doesn't matter which one you use. I just happened to grab this one. This is the little small white balls. You just want to be careful. They can be messy. And then you're going to go ahead and pour some of that in. You want enough that it will fill and cover the styrofoam. Just like that. Okay, so the base is done. You can set that aside. Now we're going to work on the next level. And we're going to do the same thing. Okay, so to do both of those, I only used about half the package. Then you're going to need a leftover ribbon roll. This is one of the larger ones. Just pull the end off. You want one that's a little bit larger than the small fishbowl on top. And then this is going to be our head of our snowman. And this is an ornament that I picked up from Dollar General. It was $3. He's really cute. His little cheeks light up. Now if you don't have a Dollar General near you, Dollar Tree also carries a snowman head ornament. You can use that instead. And then we're going to glue our head right on top. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the glue here all the way around the circle. And then glue my head on. And then I'm just going to go around the base and add a little bit more glue. I want to make sure he stays on there. Okay, and on the back here where the light is, there's also this. It is used. It looks like you can turn it on and off with that. And it just pulls right out. Okay. Okay, so go ahead and set the head aside so that it can fully set up. You're also going to need one of the scarves from Dollar Tree. This was an infinity scarf that I picked up. You're going to want to go ahead and cut a piece that is 2 squares wide, which is, let's see, 2 inches wide and in a length of about 17 inches. Then we're going to take that and we're going to fold each side in to the back. And then just take a dab of hot glue here and there to tack that down. You don't need a lot, you just want to keep it so it's folded over. And then go ahead and take the other side and fold it over as well. And tack it down. Okay. So our little snowman's head's going to go up on top. And then we're going to glue our scarf right around the rim. Okay. You want to make sure that the scarf comes forward enough to have a tail coming down. Then go ahead and put some hot glue right on the edge of the round paper, and then pull that up. And you want to make sure you have enough that it can kind of go in at the neck so you don't see any of the paper. Okay. And then just keep doing that until you get all the way around. Do a little bit at a time. Just kind of roll them on there. And you can see I'm gluing close to the bottom, but you also want to leave a little bit down there to kind of cover the rim of the glass. Okay. And go ahead and tack that down. So the long one will be tacked down underneath. And then just tack down the short one over the top. Okay, then once you got that on, go ahead and push it down to hide that cardboard. Okay, so I got my scarf on, and he still sits perfectly fine on top of the vase. Now I'm going to add a little bit of decoration because I got a little messy with my glue. So I have one tiny pine cone and just a couple little red berries that I had left over from a previous project. Okay, so I just added a little pine cone and some berries. Okay, so you have your base, you have your center, and you have your head. But I think he is absolutely adorable. And I like that he has his head and then his two body parts and sitting in a bunch of snow. You're going to need 2 of the long signs from Dollar Tree. The first thing I'm going to do is give this a good coat of apple barrel white paint, but any white acrylic or chalk paint will do. Okay, while the boards are drying, now we're going to go ahead and paint our letters. Now I picked these letters up from Dollar General. They were $1 a piece, and I picked up the letters to spell welcome. So I'm going to go ahead and take these letters. They are about 3.5 inches high. If you don't have a Dollar General near you, Walmart also sells wood letters. They're a little bit smaller than this, but not much, and they will work. I believe they're $1 or $1.47 a piece at Walmart. So now I'm just going to go ahead and take my letters, and I'm going to give them a good paint with Apple Barrels Cardinal Crimson. So again, I just want to make sure I get a really good coat so that everything is fully covered. You just need to do the front and the edges of each letter. Okay, and then you're going to need a package of the do-it-yourself wood cutout ornaments in the Christmas tree. They have 2 different varieties. Either one will work. Go ahead and take 3 of those and paint them a dark green. And then if you want, you can snow tip them. If you don't like that, you can just leave them green. And I used the apple barrel holly branch and then just tipped it in the regular apple barrel white. Okay, next you're going to need one of these signs. It comes on one of these little stakes. And you just want to go ahead and pop him off. We're going to be using this part. It also has a string up here on the top. You can go ahead and remove that. Now this step is optional. I want to cover up the Be Merry, and I want to cover up the hat and make it a little different. So I picked up one of these placemats from Dollar Tree. I really like the red and black buffalo check. So I just simply turned it over, and I took my little sign and laid it face down. And then just take a light colored pencil and go ahead and trace that out. And just go over it till you get a pattern, so you can see where to cut it. And then you're going to want to go ahead and cut that out. Okay, so I have my piece cut out. I checked and make sure it fits where I need it to fit, and it does. So I'm going to go ahead and attach that with some Mod Podge. Okay, once you get a good coat on there, you want to go ahead and set that aside and let that fully dry. Okay, once your paint dries, you want to go ahead and take some sandpaper and just lightly go over it. Sand down any high spots. If you've got any drips or anything like that, just sand that down. Remove any rough spots. You don't have to do a lot, just clean up anything that doesn't look right. Now on the boards, the end that had the staples in it to hang it, that is going to be at either end of the board. The clean end is going to be in the middle where you attach the two. Okay? So, but before we do that, we're going to go ahead and do some antiquing with Waverly Antique Wax. And then I use just a kind of a rough brush and do a dry brush. Get just the tips in there, take off any excess, and then just lightly go back and forth over the boards to give it some distressing. Now you can do as much or as little as you like, but you want to go over both boards and you want to make sure you're going in the same direction. Okay, now there are a few little places there where I got a little more than I wanted. That's okay. I'm just going to take some of the white acrylic paint that I used, put a little bit of that out, dab into that, and then just kind of go over. On one of the ends of the boards where the nails were, you want to go ahead and attach your trees. Now I just kind of laid them down. I wanted the point of these two to be about the center of the board. And I brought them up just 1/4 to 1/2 inch off of the bottom. And then to attach them, I'm using a mixture of the wood glue by Crafter Square and some hot glue. Okay, and then the third one we're going to place on top. Now you're going to need a couple small blocks. This comes in a package that looks like this. They're called wood craft cubes. You get 36 pieces. If you can't find these, you can use 2 beads on the back. You just want to use them to give some lift to this tree. So we're going to be hot gluing and gluing these onto the back so that it gives it some lift. So I glued 2 of the blocks onto the back of the tree. This is going to make it pop out. And I'm going to glue it right here in the middle. I'm going to attach it the same way using the wood glue and hot glue. And there you go. You want to let this set aside and completely dry for at least an hour or longer if you can. Because this is freshly painted, the hot glue is not going to hold but just for a short time, just long enough for you to get the wood glue to set. Now on our little Santa, the top part is still dry and it's not fully dry, but I'm attaching his little fuzzy parts. Now this is just some fuzzy yarn I had left over from another project. You can also use cotton balls or pom-pom balls, whatever you have. So I went ahead and trimmed out the front of his cap, and I did 2 layers. Now I'm going to do for the pom-pom, and I wanted to show you how you could do it with this. Just take a little bit of glue, put a little dab, fold that end over, give it a little roll, another dab, and roll. So you're making a little round pom-pom. So just every little bit, add a teeny bit of hot glue to hold it until you get it at the size that you want for where you're going to put it. Isn't that cute? Okay, now on the second board, on the end where the staples are, we're going to glue our little Santa head, just like that. And then I'm going to attach him using the woodwork glue and hot glue. I want to put together some greenery to go right underneath Santa's head. So I've taken a piece of this green garland tie and cut it in half. And I'm going to put the 2 pieces together and give it a couple twists to attach them together in an X. Just like that. And then I have a pick that I've cut up. It has some pine cones, some green leaves, some red berries, and this kind of funky greenery on it. I might add a bow to it, but I'm going to wait until I get my letters on and see how much space I have. Okay, now we're going to take the Waverly Antique Wax and we're going to add a little bit of distressing to our letters. I've already gone ahead and done this one. It kind of tones the red down and blends it better in with the sign. So I've just put a small amount of the antique wax out, get it onto my brush, and then just lightly brush in the same direction back and forth. just to give it a little bit of distressing to tone down that red. Make sure you get some right on the edges. Okay, so I'm going to go through and just distress my letters a little bit until I like them. Just like that. Now I'm going to attach the two signs together. I'm using the large craft sticks that you can pick up from Dollar Tree. Just running some hot glue all the way down. And placing one on either side. You're also going to need a yardstick. I picked this one up at Lowe's over in the paint section, and it was 98 cents. This is going to help hold the two boards together and also give them some extra strength. And I'm going to glue it right down the middle, in the middle. And I'm going to use some of this craft glue, because this craft glue dries faster than the wood glue and hot glue. Okay. Next thing is to go ahead and lay out your letters and get them placed where you want them. Once you have them down, you can go ahead and glue them. Go ahead and use the Crafter Square craft glue and hot glue. Okay, once you get all your letters placed, you're going to want to let this sit for a while and let that glue fully set up. Okay, I'm going to get the rest of my letters done, and then I'll take some photos and show you what it looks like. Now I found these really cute little wood lanterns at Dollar Tree. I picked up one of each of them. I thought they were really cute. Now the light only comes out on one side. The other three sides are just plain. And it does have the light on the bottom that you can turn on so they light up. Now for these two that have a very intricate front, I'm going to be painting these white, and then this one that just has the cross in the front, I'm going to be painting with the Waverly Antique Wax. Okay, so I put a little bit of the antique wax here on a plate, and I'm going to add just a little bit of water to it to thin it down. Just mix that together. I don't want it to be too dark, I just want it to work more like a stain. Now if you want it really dark, you can just not water it down. You can also just paint it on and leave it and not wipe it off. That'll give you a much darker stain. Okay. So there you go. I'm going to go through and I'm going to finish painting the outside of this one, and then I'm going to go ahead and give these guys a coat of white paint. Okay, so I got everything painted. This is in the Waverly Antique Wax. And then these two I just did Apple Barrel White. So those aren't quite dry, but this one is dry enough to work with. Now to decorate this one, I made a small little wreath with a red bow and some red berries on it. I want to glue that right to the front here. Cut a couple pieces of this pine garland ties. They're both about 1 inch long. I have a few little red berries and a little regular pine cone. I'm going to glue that right up here on the top. And there you go. Now, I really like that these have a hanger because you can actually hang these on your tree as an ornament. They would also look really cute on a side table or on a tiered tray. Okay, some more white ones are dry enough for me to move forward with. So I'm going to take a little bit of the antique wax, and I like to use these pouncing brushes for this technique. I just get a little bit on there, and then I'm going to go through an antique. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to antique both of these until I'm happy with them. Okay, so I got my distressing done on the little white lanterns. I'm really happy with them. So we're going to start with this one. I went ahead and made a little bow. It's just your basic bow. And I used this ribbon that I picked up from Dollar Tree. This is 5/8 of an inch by 9 feet. It has a white background and little poinsettias on it. And then I had this little bit of silver metallic ribbon. This I picked up from Walmart a long time ago. I had it in my stash. And I wanted to add a little sparkle, so I added that. And then in the middle, I added just a small red vase filler. Okay. And then also to this, I have a few pieces of some flocked fern and some red berries. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start on the top here with my flocked fern. Okay, and there you go. That one's all done. I think that looks so cute. Very winter feeling. And it looks really cute, all lit up. Okay, and then for the last one here, you're going to need one full piece of this pine garland ties. And we're going to start up here on the corner on the top. I'm going to glue it down, and then we're going to wrap it around the back till it comes to the front, and then glue it down here on this corner in the front, okay? Okay, so I got that glued down. I'm really happy with that. Now to decorate this, I have some more of the flocked fern. I have some more regular pine cones. I have some regular white berries. And I have a little bit of some odd and end greenery. And there you go. That one's all done. I think that looks absolutely adorable. Okay, so you're going to need one of these little tinsel trees that you can pick up from Dollar Tree. They carry them every year and they always have a ton, so it should be easy to get. They stand about 10 inches in height, so you want to go ahead and remove all of the tinsel off of your tree. Once you get all the tinsel off, this is what the frame will look like. Then you're also going to need some yarn. I picked this up from Dollar Tree, and it is Red Heart Boutique. And it is a dark green loopy yarn. And I did pick up 2 skews because I wasn't sure how much I was going to need. And we're going to start at the bottom. And we're going to glue this onto the frame and wrap it and get it covered. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish wrapping all the way up to the top, and I'm going to tack it down with a little bit of glue, and I'm going to wrap it as much as I need to cover the frame. And this is what it looks like when you get it all covered with the yarn. And I used only about a half a skew to do one of the small trees. Now to do a larger tree, I'm going to be using the large party hat that you can get from Dollar Tree. Go ahead and remove the little plastic thing that goes underneath your chin. And then you're going to also want to remove any of the glitter here, or the little sparkly stuff. Okay, so that just pulls out of the top, and then you want to remove this around the base as well. Okay, so I pulled off or cut off all of the little tinsel, and now we're going to do the same thing that we did to the small tree. Just find the end, start at the bottom, add some hot glue. And then go ahead and wrap it around, starting at the bottom, working your way up. So for this tree, you're also going to need one of the mini tree toppers. They come in silver or gold. You can choose whichever one you want. I chose silver. So you're going to want to go ahead and hot glue that onto the top of your tree before you get up there to wrap it, because then when you wrap it, you can cover this bottom section. Okay, so I got the big tree all covered. It looks so cute. Now it only took one skew to do both trees, so that was fabulous. And each skew is 11 yards. Now to decorate the large tree, I have some of these ornaments, little snowflake ornaments from Dollar Tree. I also have some little silver balls. And then I also have some vase filler in red and green and silver and white. So this is what I'm going to use to decorate the larger of the two trees. Okay, so just go ahead and open up all of your little ornaments or whatever you're going to use to decorate your tree. Now I'm just going to be hot gluing these in, and I'm going to start with the larger ornaments, and then I'll fill in with my smaller ones. So on the little snowflakes, they came on a little white string fishing line. I just took that off, and I'm just going to hot glue them. Put a dab at the tip where it would normally hang, and then place it onto the yarn. You need to hold it just for a minute until it sets. And then same thing with the balls. I don't want the top here to show, so I'm going to put the glue there. And then take those, just kind of lift up the yarn and stick it in. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and glue in my ornaments wherever I want. Okay, I got my tree all decorated. I think it looks really cute. Now for the small tree, I want to make a bow for the top, and I'm going to be using this black and red gingham that I picked up from Dollar Tree. I just want to make two simple bows, double bow with some nice long tails. So you're going to want to cut two pieces at 8 inches and one piece at 10 inches. Then you want to take the two ends of the 8-inch pieces and fold them over. To help me, I just add just a dab of hot glue to hold the two ends together. Just want them to overcross by about half an inch to 3/4 of an inch. Do the same thing to the other 8-inch piece. So that you have a ring. Then you're also going to need a small piece of floral wire. Just a couple inches will do. And you want to go ahead and take that folded part and put it right in the center. You want to place one loop on top of the other with the cut end up. And then find the center of your long tails. And then put the middle of that right in the middle. Okay? So you have one loop, another loop, and then the tails. Then you want to take your floral wire, wrap it around the center. Fold it over, make sure you're in the middle, and then pull nice and tight and twist. And then you just need to separate the two loops so you have one that's a little bit higher than the other. And pull your tails down. Okay, and then once you make sure that's nice and secure, you can cut off the extra floral wire. And then on the ends, I just bring them together and I just do an angled cut. Okay. You'll need to make 2 of those. And then to decorate this tree, I'm going to be decorating it with some red berries. Some of the small pine cones. And then I also have this, I've had this in my stash for years, and they're just tiny pine cones with red berries, and the pine cones are flocked. And then I may also go in and add some of the red and green sparklies. Okay, so I'm all done with my small tree. I decided to just do the pine cones and the red berries. I'm really happy. I think it looks really pretty. And I did it all the way around, so it doesn't matter where you place it. You can use it as a centerpiece. You can use it on a side table, wherever you like. To get started on today's project, you're going to need one of these wood cutouts that you can pick up from Dollar Tree that says "Let It Snow." And then you're going to need a sign that the "Let It Snow" will fit on. I pulled this one out of my stash. I also picked this up from Dollar Tree. I like the shape, but it has a little bit of design here, that it's not just square. And I think the "Let It Snow" fits very nicely. It still has an even amount of space all the way around, so I'm happy with that. If it has any stickers on the back, you need to remove that, and go ahead and remove any hanger that it may have. Now to fill the holes here where the hanger was, I'm just going to be using some of the lightweight spackle that you can pick up over in the hardware section at Dollar Tree. Just push some into the holes, and then you want to let it dry before you paint. Just wipe off any excess. Here on your "Let It Snow" cutout, you just want to remove the hanger. You're going to need some of the faux snow, and this is the sparkly crystal looking type of faux snow that you can pick up. And then you're also going to need some white paint. Any white paint will do. This one is Apple Barrel. So I want to get a good coat of white paint on there, and while the paint is still wet, I'm going to sprinkle on some of the fake snow. Okay, so I have 2 coats on my Let It Snow here, and it is still wet. So I'm going to lift it up off of my wet paper here. Now I'm going to sprinkle my snow. And just lightly pat it into the paint. Shake off any excess. And then if you have any big clumps like on the sides, just kind of tap on it to get any of that excess off. But I think that looks really pretty, and it adds that extra little bit of sparkle. You want to set this aside and let it fully dry before we move forward. So here on our background, our filler here has dried. So I'm just going to smooth it out by doing a little bit of sanding to make sure that it's smooth. Now I'm going to paint the background here this really pretty French blue. This is by Folk Art, and this is Superior Coverage. It is a matte finish. And then once that dries, I'm going to do a dry brush over it with this really pretty Folk Art Enamels Sterling Silver. I want it to be nice and shimmery and have a blue cast in the background to really set off the Let It Snow. You want to let that fully dry before we move forward. Now my Let It Snow has dried, but I'm still getting some fallout from the artificial snow that I attached. So I'm going to take this outside and give it a good spray of Krylon Triple Thick Crystal Clear Glaze. This will set the fake snow so that it doesn't come off, and it'll also put a nice protective coating on this in case I decide I want to put it outside. Okay, so my base is all nice and dry. Now I have some of the sterling silver and some of the white out. And I'm going to be adding some distressing to the base here. And I like to use my little chip brush here for that. And I'm going to start with the sterling silver. Just dab in a little bit, dab off any excess. And then I always like to start around the edges. This allows me to see exactly how much paint I have on my brush. It also helps me to remove any excess. And then once you get that down, you can just start to slowly go back and forth. To start with less, you can always add more. Now I have a good amount of the silver down, so next I'm going to go in and do the same thing with the white. Don't be afraid to layer the colors either. If you feel like you get too much of the white on or too much of the silver on, you can always go back over with the other color. If you feel like you get too much of both of the colors on there, you can always go back and do a little dry brushing with your base color. My base is all dry and I'm very pleased with the end result. I really like the mixture of all three of those colors. It definitely gives me the feeling of winter, cold and snowy. Very pretty. My Let It Snow is all nice and dry too. I am still getting just a little bit of fallout, so that's why I have this piece of paper down. I'm going to turn this over. You're also going to need some of these small wood blocks that you can pick up at Dollar Tree in the Crafter Square section. And I'm going to be attaching these onto the back. You want to make sure that you have enough that it gives proper support. Okay, I think that looks good. I'm going to attach those, and I'm going to do that by using a combination of the wood glue and hot glue. Now I want to let those set up for a little bit. And while that's happening, I'm going to get this ready. This is an LED light set, and this is blue. And I like this one. They have little small lights, and the wires are nice and thick. They are battery operated, and it says for indoor use only. If you do use this type of lights on it, you need to keep it inside. I put the batteries in. These require 2 AA batteries, and you will need a small screwdriver set because there is a small screw here that you need to take out to be able to get in there. And this is what it looks like. You want to make sure that they work, and I did choose to use blue light. Now this is where I want to come off the top, because I'm going to hide my battery pack behind the back, and I'm planning on putting a bow at the top so that will hide the black cord. But I want to start at this end. So you need to think about your path, how you're going to lay that out so that you end up here at the top. So I'm going to start over here and work my way down, across, up, and then over. It doesn't have to be really even. I just need to make sure there's light, especially on both sides and a little bit in the middle. And to attach these, I'm going to hot glue them down. Now if you have a high temp hot glue gun, you need to be careful because if your glue is too hot, you will melt the wires. So what I do is put down a little dab of hot glue and give it a second to cool before you lay your light in. I'm going to turn these off while I do this. And then just lay your light in. Use the little blocks to help you kind of guide your wire where you need it because you don't want to see it from the front. And then just slowly work your way through and place your little lights. And if you need to, just add a little dab to hold it out of the way. I'm gonna get my lights on and then I'll be back. I have all my lights attached and I'm really happy with that. They all still work, so we are good to go. I'm just gonna push this aside for a minute. I'm really happy with the background here, but there's one more thing I want to add to this to give it a little bit more character. I have one of these white Crafter Square metallic markers. I do like these, they work rather well. And just about a ½ inch down from the edge all the way around, I just want to put a little kind of like stitching. I just want to add a little bit more something something. Doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be super even, just try to get it about the same distance. I like that. I think it just adds a little bit something something to the background. And now I'm ready to attach my Let It Snow. Look at how pretty that looks. I'm very happy with that. Now I'm going to attach this the same way using the wood glue and hot glue. Just eye it, get it down. Make sure you have contact. Now to attach our battery pack here, I like to use these fastener dots that you can get at Dollar Tree over in the office section, office supply, school supply. And you get 20 pairs and they are Velcro. So they come on a sheet like this and then they match up. Now the side that has a little screw on it, that's the side that's going to face out. So you want to flip it over and put them on the back. You want to make sure that you still have access to those batteries. And this battery pack is kind of heavy, so I'm going to use several here. Okay, and just take that, feed it over to the back, and then go ahead and attach it to your back. Okay, now that's not going to go anywhere. You can easily turn your lights on and off. And that'll be secure in the back, and if you need a little bit more excess room to change that, you can always remove it. So we're going to work on the bow now. This is the ribbon that I've chosen. You're also going to need ½ a pipe cleaner. Now I picked this up at Costco. Costco always has really nice Christmas ribbon every year, and this is 1½ inches at 50 feet. I picked this up last year and I believe it was $6.98 last year. It went up this year. It was $8.49 for them this year, but that's still a really great deal. And I absolutely love those colors. I think it matches our sign perfectly. So for our bow, you're going to need a piece of ribbon cut at about 8.5 inches, one cut at 14 inches, and one cut at 16 inches. You want to start with the longest, find the center, and pinch. Bring one end in. You want to cross that center by about an inch and pinch. Do the same thing with the other side. Okay. Take the next one, 14 inches, and do the same thing. Find the center and pinch. And then bring each end in. Then you take your smaller bow and place it on top of your larger bow. And this piece is going to be your tail. I want short tails on this, so just fold that in half, pinch in the middle, and then place that on the back. You want to make sure that the knife side is facing up. Take your pipe cleaner and wrap it right around the center. Pull to the back. Make sure you get a good grip, pinch, and give a good twist. Open up your bow. So you'll have 2 loops on each side. If your loops aren't even, all you have to do is go down to where they come out and pull. Just make sure that you're pulling the right one so you don't pull it apart. And if your loops don't lay right, you go right down to where they come out and open it up. That's where you want to do your main adjusting, and then just fluff out your loop. Nice, cute, simple little bow. I'm going to dovetail my ends here, and all you have to do is fold them together. You cut from the fold down to the wire edge. It gives you a nice little dovetail. Give another twist or two there at the base, and then trim off any excess pipe cleaner. And fold down those ends. So the bow came out really cute. I'm very happy with that. But before we attach it, I want to put a hanger here on the back of my sign. And I'm just going to use a pipe cleaner. Okay, so I just kind of bent it like that. And now I'm going to glue down my little ends here, and then I'll use that to hang it. Okay, so now I'm going to attach my bow here at the top. Now I don't want to glue it right onto my wire. I want to glue it. My wire's actually a little off center, which is perfect because I'm going to glue it right in the middle there onto the board. And then that way it will hide my cord, but be right in the middle of the sign. And there you go, we are all done. I'm really happy with the final project. Now, of course, you can always put this on a wreath if you'd like, or hang it on your wall. You could also set it up on your mantle, whichever you prefer. But I like that little bow. I think it's so cute. It perfectly hides the wire. Makes it nice and easy to turn it on and off. And look at how pretty that looks. For this quick and easy Christmas DIY, you're going to need one of these new Crafter Square hanging holders. You're also going to need some of the Waverly Antique Wax. If you don't have any of this, you can always use brown paint. Now this is a galvanized item. To get this so that it accepts the paint and the Mod Podge that I'm going to be using later, you need to prep this base, and that's very easy to do. All you need to do is wash the area that you're going to be painting or Mod Podging with mild soap and water. That will clean off any residue that's left from the manufacturing process. After that, you want to take some white vinegar and you want to rub down the outside. Now, galvanized items come with a coating on it that is resistant to accepting paint and other types of things you want to attach to the outside. So to get good adhesion and not to get any chipping on your paint, you want to do this process. Soap and water, rinse, rub it down good with white vinegar, and then rinse it well again to remove any residue of the vinegar, and dry. And then your item is ready to move forward and paint or Mod Podge or do whatever you want to it, and you'll have much more success with it. Now this has already been prepared. Now the reason why I want to add the antique wax is I want to age this a little bit on the outside. So I have my favorite chip brush here. It has dried paint and everything in it. I like it that way. It makes this technique look much better and makes it much easier. Just dab off any excess. I like to start around the edge. This tells me how much paint I actually have on my brush. It can help me remove any excess. Now I have my little holder here, and it's pretty much dry. I want to add a little image here on the front. So I went on the internet and I found this really cute little image. So I put it into Word and sized it to the size I needed. Now this one is just on plain copy paper. So as you can see, if I put it right here, it looks much more white against the background. And then this one I did on colored cardstock, so it comes out looking a little bit more antiqued. And I like that much better on my background. So this is the one that I'm going to use. And I just measured to see how large I wanted the image, and then I sized it in Word and printed it in Word. Now I'm going to add it with some Mod Podge here. And I'm going to put Mod Podge all over the front because I want the finish to be the same. Now I have my image down. When I applied the Mod Podge, it did lift up some of the antique wax. So now that I have my image down nice and smooth, and I did use this guy right here, my edges started to lift up because the paper was thicker because this one is on cardstock. So I used this to smooth it out. It's down nice and smooth. I have a good coat of Mod Podge there. I let it sit for just a few minutes till it got tacky. And now I'm going to go back over a little bit here with my antique wax to replace what I lifted up from with the Mod Podge. Very pretty. I like that. Nice old rustic. Now you need to let that fully set up. My galvanized hanger is dry and I'm really happy. It looks very antique-y and weathered to me, which is exactly the look I was going for. I picked this ribbon up at Dollar Tree. I really like it and I think it suits the pattern that I chose here, my image. I'm just going to glue this here and I'm going to use a combination of the Crafter Square craft glue and hot glue. Not a lot of things like to stick to galvanized items, so I want to make sure that this doesn't come off. The hot glue will hold it there until the craft glue can set up. I think that looks absolutely adorable. Now to finish this off, I'm just going to put some really pretty Christmas greeneries here in the top. And just play with it, do a little bit of adjusting until you get it the way that you like it. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? What a beautiful Christmas decor piece to hang on your wall. You can even hang this on your Christmas tree if you like large ornaments on your tree. Simply use the hanger here to hang it on your wall or your tree. Absolutely gorgeous. For our next Christmas DIY, you're going to need a pair of these little Christmas booties. They come 2 in a set. You can remove any of the hanging ribbon. Now they have 2 different patterns to choose from. I decided to use this one today. I think they're so cute. And I love these little pom-poms here on the end of the strings. You're also going to need 2 of these picks. Now they have 3 different ones to choose from. This is the one that has the fake snow on it. They also have one that has a little bit of silver or a little bit of gold, so it's your choice, but you will need 2 picks and you get 6 picks in a package, so 1 package will be sufficient. And then you'll also need 1 stem of the frosted greenery, and this is the one with the red berries. Now to prepare the picks, you don't need a very long stem, so just trim off the wire on the bottom. And then I want to cut this into 2 pieces. So I'm going to come down here in the center down a little bit and trim. So now I have 2 pieces. And then here you're going to need 2 single stems here, 1 for each booty. And as you can see, you have a top piece and a bottom piece. You want to separate those 2. You don't need it to be that long. Okay, so you'll need 4 small pieces of this. and 4 small pieces of the pine pick. The first thing I want to do is I want to glue my 2 little booties here together so that they are nice and steady. And I want them to be a little off from each other like that, so that when you see them from the side you can see both booties. So once you decide their placement and you're happy with them, just glue the 2 together. Then all you need to do is fill the top here with some of your greenery. Put in 2 little pieces of the pine picks and 2 little pieces of your glitter berries per booty. And there you go. Very cute, easy and simple. Only a few dollars for a really cute little tiered tray decoration. This would also look really good on your side table, mantle. You can also fill it maybe with some poinsettias or even fill them with candy canes. Really cute and simple Christmas DIY. For our next fun Christmas project, you're going to need a bucket or something large to hold snowballs in. I've chosen this one that I picked up from Dollar Tree. I absolutely love Santa's belt here. It does come with handles. You're also going to need several packages of the large snowballs. Now I picked these up at Dollar Tree. If you can't find them at Dollar Tree, Hobby Lobby also carries them in a package of 4 that are about the same size. Now this bucket is rather large, so I need to fill the bottom with a little something so I don't have to quite fill it all with snowballs. So I've just taken a plastic bag and kind of scrunched it up, and I'm going to place that on the bottom. And you can do a couple of them depending on how many snowballs you bought. And the amount of snowballs will depend on the size of your family. If you have a large family and a lot of people that will participate in your indoor snowball fight, then you're going to want to buy a lot of snowballs. If you only have a few people in your family that would get into this, or you're only going to use it as a decor piece, then fill the bottom all the way up to about 3/4 with plastic bags, and then just fill the very top with the snowballs. So that's up to you how many packages you're going to need. My bucket is all nice and full of my snowballs. I'm really happy with that. Now I want to make a sign to go inside to explain what this bucket of snowballs is for. For our sign, you're going to need a piece of wood. This one I picked up from Dollar Tree. I really do like the shape. They have so many different plaques and flat pieces of wood to choose from. I like a little bit of a design around the edges. I think that adds a lot. And then this image I made on canva.com. I really do like that site. You can sign up for a free account and they allow you to use many of the features. So you can go in and create whatever sign you want. Mine says Merry Christmas, Indoor Snowball Fight, How to Play. Pick your teams, claim your space, divide the snowballs evenly. A round is 1 to 3 minutes. The team that has the least amount of snowballs in their space wins the round. Best 3 out of 5 wins the game. And bragging rights. So this is my little sign that I made. This one I printed on an off-white cardstock. I like that. It makes it look a little bit more old. And this one I have printed on just regular white copy paper. So you can use whatever you have on hand. They both will work. And then to attach this, I'm just going to use Mod Podge. And I can see that a few of my little pieces here are going to not be covered, but that's okay because of the dark paper that I used blends in with the wood. And then I'm also going to go over this with a little bit of the Waverly Antique Wax, just a little bit around the edges to darken it to make this sign really stand out. So those edges will blend in fine once I do that. To attach this, I'm going to be using Mod Podge, and I'm only going to be putting it on the underneath. I'm not going to go over the top with this. So it doesn't matter if you use the matte or the gloss, whatever you have on hand will work. My sign has been sitting flat with a little bit of weight on it for about 45 minutes, so it's nicely set up. I'm now removing all of the excess paper around the edges. You'll need a nice safe cutting surface. And then I use the utility knife. I picked this up at Dollar Tree. And just gently trace out the shape of your wood sign. You don't have to get it on the first time around. You can go over it a couple times. If you try to push too hard, it'll just make it more difficult. So just try to follow the shape and get as close as you can. And now I just have a nail file that I picked up at the nail section at Dollar Tree. I like these. These work very well when you have nice curves and things on your sign. You want to start by going down and away. This will clean up any little bits of excess paper that are left behind and smooth out any rough edges. Now that gives it a nice clean edge. Now I also want to take just a little bit of the paper off. I did here on this corner and I did down here. I'm going to do a little bit up here and here. And again, I just take the file, go over the edge a little bit. Just so that you take just a little bit off. I want this to look a little aged. So that's why I'm going to mess up the paper just a little bit. And then I'll go over it with the antique wax just around the edges. I want the rest of the sign to stand out really well. And darkening the edges will do that. It'll also add a little bit more age. I have my Waverly antique wax and my favorite chip brush. Just get a little bit there. Tap off any excess. And I'm only going to hit right around the edges on this. I just want to darken up the edges to really give more definition here to the sign. Perfect. Just what I was looking for. Now I want to put my sign here on a stake, and I have one that's left over. I used the gnome that was attached to this on a wreath, and I always keep these in case I can use them. And I'm going to attach this to the back of my sign here using some of the Crafter Square craft glue and hot glue. My sign is all done. I decided to go in and do some antiquing here on my stake because it was so pristine white next to my sign. But now I think it all goes together perfectly. And all I have to do is stick this in my bucket, and now everybody knows, Merry Christmas. This is an indoor snowball fight, and they have all the rules on how to play. Now, if you wanted to, you could use this as a game for your family. You can also use this as simply a decor piece. You can change the sign and maybe do something Merry Christmas, snowballs, 5 cents, or something along those lines instead of doing the snowball fight. There's so many different ways that you can customize this for your home. For this project, you're going to need 4 wood letters that are 4 inches in height. I chose to do the word Noel. You can choose to do whichever word you like. You can do joy or Noel or Merry. I don't suggest that you do any word longer than Merry. I will be painting my letters a beautiful deep red using Folk Art lipstick red. You want to get 1 good coat of paint on your letters. Make sure to hit the sides. You can pick up 4-inch wood letters from any of the craft stores, Michael's, Joann's, Hobby Lobby, even Walmart carries them. I have all of my letters painted red. I'm really happy. I'm going to set those aside and let them dry. Next, you're also going to need 1 of these per letter. So depending on how long your word is, depends on how many of these you need. So since I'm spelling out Noel, I have 4. Now on 1, you need to leave the hanger. On the other 3, you need to remove the hanger. And you also want to remove the staples as best you can. We're going to be attaching these together, and with the staples there, it'll make it hard for you to get a good seal. Once you have removed your staples, just go over with some sandpaper or sand block and smooth that out. I also noticed on these that some of them, when they were cut, they were left with really rough edges. If you happen to come across those on yours, just take your sand block and just go over that edge lightly. It'll clean it right up. So go ahead and clean up your pieces until you're happy with them. Everything's ready to be put together. So I'm going to be attaching these below each other and have all 4 together. And I'm going to be attaching them with the original super glue, wood glue, and hot glue. Then I'm going to use a popsicle stick here to help secure it. They don't meet up completely flat and flush, so this will make sure that they stay together. Now I'll be attaching all 4 in the same way. Once everything is attached, you want to wait about a half an hour before you move forward. I am placing my wood letters right in the middle, and I'm using a combination of the wood glue and hot glue. Now it's really nice that these have slats. It makes it much easier for you to get them in the correct place. I've just been lining them up with the 2 slats. And just do your best to eye it and get it in the correct position. So I have everything glued together. It's only been sitting for a few minutes with the letters on. The base has been sitting for about a half hour. I want to add some decor up here. Now I have these 2 pieces that I cut off a larger stem of greenery. They each have 1 little pine cone on there. I thought that was really pretty. And I'm just going to hot glue them at the top here, one facing this way and one facing this way. And now I want to add just a couple of these really pretty berries. Now these I picked up at Dollar Tree. They are large berries. You get 16 in a pack, and these do have the snow on them. In the package they do come two twisted together, which I think is good. And I just want to place a couple in there, and I don't really need those wires, so I'm going to cut them. And then I'm just going to hot glue these in place. And there you go, we are all done. I really like that. I think that really sets off my Noel sign. I think it's absolutely beautiful and will look great next to my front door outside. To get started on today's project, you're going to need one of the wooden sleigh ornaments that you can pick up from Dollar Tree. They have 3 different ones to choose from, and I found these in the Christmas section. You're also going to need some of the Waverly Antique Wax and some pretty red paint. I'm going to be using Folk Art Lipstick Red. On my sleigh here, I'm going to be painting my rails, the antique wax. I want it to have that really old-fashioned wood look. And then the top here I'm going to paint red, and then I may even go back and do a little distressing with the antique wax so that it's not quite so bright. So the first thing I'm going to do here is move this little bit of jute cord. I don't want to get any paint or anything on that. For your convenience, in the description box below is a detailed list of all the tools and materials I used to complete this beautiful Christmas DIY. Once you get a good coat on there, you can go over with a piece of paper towel. This will just remove any excess. And that really helps to bring out that wood grain, which is what I'm looking for. Very nice. I'm also going to do the inside and all the way around the trim here to make sure that everything looks nice and cohesive. I have my rails done. I'm really happy with how they look. You can really see that wood grain. And I did do the inside because as it's sitting, you will be able to see that part. Now I'm going to paint the top with the red. My paint is all nice and dry, so we're going to add a little bit of distressing with the Waverly Antique Wax. That's a little too bright red for me right now. I'm going to use my favorite 1-inch chip brush here. Now you can see I have lots of dried up stuff in there because I like it chunky. It makes the effect much nicer and much easier to do. Just get a little bit on there. Now you can add as much or as little as you like. I like that much better. It tones down that red so it's not quite so bright. I replaced the jute cord here on my sleigh. Now I'm going to let this dry for a little bit. You're also going to need one of these faux trees. Now you can use any of the faux trees that you like. I happen to like this one. And you want one that is a decent size for your sleigh. I thought this looked pretty good on my sleigh for the size. So I chose this one, and this one is about 9 inches in height. And I really like the cut, and I like the fact that it's flocked. But I want to decorate this a little bit for Christmas. I thought it would be nice to add some lights to our tree. These are like the little fairy lights. I did pick this up at Dollar Tree, but this is not something that I've seen on a regular basis there. This is by Starlight Creations, 20 LED Ultra Slim wire lights. It's a warm white on a silver wire, and I like that. You know, I like the silver wire because it really does kind of disappear. And it does require 3 AA batteries. So it comes in a little roll like this. They have the end already kind of set aside for you. And I've loaded in my batteries. Wanted to make sure it works. And I really do like that. Nice and soft, nice small lights, which I think will fit the size of my tree perfectly. Now I'm going to be taking this battery pack and hiding it underneath the sleigh so you're not going to be able to see it. And you can either just set it under there, or if you have some of the Velcro dots that you can pick up at Dollar Tree, they're over like in the office supply, you can put a couple sets. I'd put 4 because this is rather heavy, 4 to 6. And they're double sticky sided, and then they have Velcro in the middle, so you can attach it underneath, and then when you need to change the batteries you can pull it off. And this one is actually nice. This one, you just simply slide that off. You don't need a little screwdriver set. A lot of the other ones have a little screw in it that you need to undo. This one just slides off, which I thought was nice. But I do like these. So I do have some of the fastener dots. I was able to find them. You get 20 pairs in this package, which is great. So I will be using these to attach this onto the bottom, but I'm going to wait until I get all my lights on and everything so I know exactly how much excess I have. So I'm going to start with the little end here. And I want to start with that up at the top. So I'm just going to kind of feed it in till I can get my little light up here at the top. Use my nail to kind of break that to feed it in. Okay, so I have my little light. Can you see it right there at the top? And now I'm just going to take this and work my way and kind of wrap it and slowly feed it inside as I work my way down. Okay, so I got it around there. Let's turn it on. See, yeah, I like that. Now if you need to do any adjusting, like you have too many lights in one area or something, feel free to go back and adjust until you get it the way that you like. But I think that looks super pretty. Exactly the look I was going for. So I'm wanting to place my tree here on the back. And just kind of adjust it to get it to stand the way you want it. I like that. Now I'm going to attach it with a mixture of some of the Crafter Square craft glue and hot glue. And now I want to place this towards the back and right kind of in the center. Hold it down until that hot glue sets up. Now just work your little wire down underneath. You want to hide that. And then pull it down so it goes underneath your sleigh. Like I have slats, so I just pulled it right through one of the slats here. And now I can attach this to the bottom. And I know how much wire I have. So when you open your package of your little dots here, you want to put them together. They're Velcro, so they match each other. Then once you get it together, you can place it. And this battery pack is pretty heavy, so I'm going to put on here as many as I can get on so it does not fall off. Okay, I have 6 on there, and now I'm going to place it underneath. You want to make sure the on and off switch is accessible from the bottom. And then you just want to tuck that extra wire. You're going to need it when you want to replace your batteries. So just kind of tuck it so that it's out of the way and it doesn't show. And then it's nice and hidden. You're also going to need a package of these. I found these on the end cap with all of the little miniatures for the little small Christmas trees. And I really do like these. They're little small wrapped packages, and you do get a dozen. They come in 4 different colors. You can also use little small jewelry boxes, which is what this one is. And then I did unwrap 2 of the squares. I taped them together and then rewrapped them so I could get a couple different size packages. So I have a couple that look just like they did out of the package. I did add a bow onto this one, a little silver package. I put a white bow. And then I also rewrapped one of them in paper so that it kind of matches the others and added a bow. Now Dollar Tree also sells these little bows over in their regular wrapping section. And they come in several different colors. The packages that I had came with like 3 or 4 different colors. So I'm going to be adding these to the base here underneath my tree. I do have a couple other things I want to add to the tree here, but I'm going to wait until I get all my packages down. So I'm just going to play with this for a little bit and see where my packages best fit to get my placement, to make sure everything will fit the way and look the way that I'm looking for. Now I worked out my placement of where I want to put all my little packages. So now I'm going to be hot gluing them on. I want to make sure that they don't move or come off. I have all of my presents attached and I'm really happy with their placement. Now I did leave one little area here on this side. I wanted to add some extra greenery. So this is my little space here. Now I just have one little piece of this flocked fern. And then I have 2 of these which come in a package like this. They are mini pine picks. You get 6 in a package. You only need 2. And then I have one little sprig of red berries. And I pulled that off of this holly that I picked up at Dollar Tree. Now these pieces here, the picks are a little bit too big for what I'm looking for, so I'm going to trim these down some. and get it into smaller pieces that I can work with. Same thing with this fern. And now I'm just going to go ahead and glue these together in a way that I like. I put those, I want a little bit in the background of this. So I'm just going to hot glue these together so that I have my own little bundle, and then it'll be easier for me to insert that in the back here. So I have my little bundle glued together, and I left a little end here so that I can insert it and glue it in. I'm going to place it right here like that. I think that'll look really pretty. And then I'm going to add some berries. And I also pulled out a couple of pine cones here. These are little mini. I have some that are flocked and some that are plain. So just get that in there and placed and hold it until that glue sets up for you. If you need to, go ahead and add a little bit more hot glue. You want to make sure that that doesn't come apart. Now I cut my berries into 3 little bunches. And here I want to add a pine cone. I think I'm going to go with a flock. No, maybe not. Yeah, I like that better. Okay, so I'm going to go with a regular pine cone, and then I'm going to tuck in 1 or 2 bunches of the berries. Oh, I like that very much. Now I want to add a little bit more greenery, so I'm going to clip a little bit more of these longer leaves here on the glittered fern. And then I also cut little smaller pieces here out of the pick. Now I'm just going to take these, I want to go and feed in just a little bit around the packages and maybe do a little something here in the front. Here in the front, and then a little bit maybe here on this side, because I really like that. I think that looks so pretty. I have all of my greenery on and I'm really happy. I did go ahead and fill in the back here a little bit more, added another pine cone. But I'm really happy with that. I think it looks so pretty. But I'm not quite done with the tree here. I pulled out some of the smallest vase fillers in the colors that I wanted. I have the traditional red and green and white. I also have silver and gold in there. And I want to add some of these in mixed colors here on the tree as little ornaments. Now I'm not going to put anything right at the very top of the tree because I do have a little light. So I'm going to start kind of here, and I don't want a whole lot on there. Add a little dab of glue and then place them. I'm going to get my little vase fillers on, and then I'll come back and show you the finished product. And here you go. We are all done. I'm really happy with the final product. I think everything came out so pretty. I like those little vase fillers on the tree. It really brings it out and makes it look like a Christmas tree. I'm very happy with the end result. There are so many different things that you can do with these guys. Let's get them turned on. Let me get the lights. Doesn't that look beautiful? Two of these wood signs. Now it doesn't matter what they say, you just want two that are the same size. These that I'm using are 18 inches in length, 2 inches in height, and 1 inch in depth. You're also going to need some of the super glue, wood glue. We're going to be gluing these two together, one on top of another. Now I have some braces that I'm going to be using to make sure that these stay together. If you don't have anything like this, you can always use like rubber bands or tie it together. You can also place them upside right and then place something heavy on top. You can pick something up like this at any hardware store. Just clean up any excess glue that you have. You'll need to let this sit for a good 24 hours for the glue to fully cure. I have my two pieces of wood glued together. Here on the back I removed any of the stickers that were on, and I always use a paint scraper that helps me get everything off. Now I'm just taking a sand block. You can use sandpaper, and you just want to sand everything down so it's nice and smooth. Once you have everything sand down and it's nice and smooth, make sure to wipe off any dust or residue that might be there. Now on the face here, I'm going to do a good coat here of my French Blue by Folk Art. This is a matte finish and superior coverage. I really love this color. I have two of the Color Your Own ornaments from Dollar Tree. They come in a package of 5. They have a couple different tree ornaments that you can choose from, so use whatever you can find. I'm also going to paint these the same French blue color. I have two of the small wood icons in the snowflakes that you can pick up at Dollar Tree. I think they come in a package of like 14. And then from Hobby Lobby, I picked this up. It's Merry Christmas, and this is a letter kit. They put it together so that you can make a garland out of it. They have little screws here to attach to each of the words and twine, but that's not how I'm going to use it. So I'm just going to be using the wood letters. And I'll just keep this section for some future craft. I want to paint my Christmas the same blue, and I want to paint my Merry white, and I'm going to paint my little snowflakes here white as well. Now my base is pretty dry. I have all my letters and other items over here drying. Now on the bottom half here, I want to add a little bit of some rolling hills that are covered in snow. So I just have my apple barrel basic white paint. I'm happy with that. I'm going to set that aside and let that dry. You will also need a package of ornaments. These are the small ornaments and you get 16 pieces. This is the one that I've chosen. It's all silver, but they have shiny silver, soft silver, and glitter. And each of them are a little bit different shaped, which I really like. You'll also need a couple packages of the Christmas trees. These are the small, tiny glitter trees, and I'm using one package in silver and one package in white. You get 6 pieces in each. I'm just prepping my trees, simply cutting off the little wood round that's on the bottom. And I'm going to hang on to these. I know I can find a good use for those. And I like these packages of trees because you get different sizes in the same package. On your little Christmas ornament, you just want to grab the top, give a little twist and pull. They come right off. Here at the top, you want to fill that hole with hot glue. And then take your little Christmas tree and feed it right down through the top. And then you just need to hold it in position until that glue sets up. Make sure that your tree is nice and straight. Check different directions. Usually you can do a little bit more adjusting before it fully sets. Very cute. So I did all of my trees, and that is a dozen, 6 of each. Super glue, wood glue, and some of these little wood blocks that you can pick up at Dollar Tree. You'll need 4 of the little wood blocks. You're going to attach them here on the back of your Christmas trees. You need 1 at the base and 1 at the top. And I just glued them on with a combination of the wood glue and hot glue. The hot glue will hold it right away until the super glue can set up. That way I can keep working. Everything is nice and dry, and I've laid out how I want to lay out all my letters and my words. Here on either end, I'm going to be placing one of my trees, and I wanted them to pop out because my words here and even my snowflakes are very thick. They're 3-dimensional, so I wanted to make sure that my tree was as well. That's why I added the little blocks there. And I'm going to have one on either end. But right now we're going to get our letters and our little snowflakes here glued down. And how I lay them out is I find the center. I put a little mark here on the bottom so I can see where it is, where the center is. And then I divide the word in half, so S is the center. So I have this in the middle, and then I just kind of build the word out from there and make sure that everything looks right. R is my center, so it's directly above the S. And now that I have everything placed, I'm going to go ahead and glue down, and again I'm going to start here in the center. And I'm going to use the mixture of the super glue and hot glue. And I'm just going to do a couple drops of the hot glue. I just want that to hold it in place until the other can set up. And do your best to get your letters placed evenly. And there you go. I have everything attached using the super glue, wood glue, and hot glue. I'm really happy with its placement, and it will sit very well up on my mantle. Now, I did not paint my little blocks here that I used to lift up my trees. If that bothers you, by all means, go ahead and paint them the same color as the background. But it does not bother me. I think when I have this up, you're not even going to be able to notice it. So I'm not going to worry about that. Now, here across the top is where I want to put all my little trees. And I did pull out one package of just the white Christmas trees. Now this is over in the Cobblestone Village. I want to place one large white tree on either end, and then in the middle I'm going to place these that have the little ornaments. I think that will look very pretty across the top. And I'm going to be attaching all the little trees across the top with the hot glue and the Crafter Square craft glue. Now as I add my little trees that are in the little ornaments, I'm just going to change up the size. I have large ones and smaller ones. And I'm also going to mix up between the silver trees and the white trees. I have all my little trees glued on across the top, and I'm really happy with how it looks. I think it's so pretty. Now there's a couple more things I want to do to add my final touches. And I have some here, pure white glue from Surebonder. And this actually looks like snow when it dries. So I have some here in my glue gun, and I'm going to add some of that right along the edge here. So I want it to look like snow. And then I'm even going to have a little bit here where I have it drip down. Doesn't that look awesome? Absolutely love it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that across the top here. And there you go. We're all done. I'm really happy with the end result. I love how the white hot glue looks like snow. I went across the top here, I went across the word Christmas, and I added some to the two blue trees on either end. Here on the Mary, because the white wasn't really going to show up, I decided to use some silver, and this is just a silver glitter hot glue. I also got this from Surebonder, and I just went over the Mary in the same way that I did the Christmas, just so that it would show up a little bit better than just doing that plain white. But I'm very happy with the end result. I think it looks very wintry, cold, and Christmassy. The first thing that you'll need is a 8-foot piece of pine wood. This measures at 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch. I picked it up at Lowe's. It was $2.68 for the piece of wood. Now for the elf, you will need 2 pieces cut at 11 inches. And for the Santa Claus, you will need 2 pieces cut at 14 inches. Now, if you don't have a way to cut the wood at home, whether you buy it at Lowe's or Home Depot, you can always ask them to cut the wood for you at those specific lengths. My Lowe's does not charge me to cut the wood, but some places do, so you might want to ask. You're also going to need one of these unfinished wood plaques. This one I picked up from Home Depot. It was $1.98. It's nice and thick, and this is what we're going to use as the base. And the size is 5 inch by 7 inch. If you can find a thick base at Dollar Tree in one of their plaques that's large enough, you can use that. But you want to make sure that it has some weight to it so that your guy can stand up straight. And then you're also going to need one of these elf signs and then one of the Santa signs if you're going to do Santa. All I did was pull the two apart and make sure that I removed all of the hot glue off of the back. And I also went ahead and removed the hanger. You'll want to go ahead and do that to both signs. Okay, so go ahead and unwrap your base. Now you'll need one for each if you're going to do both of them. And to find the center, you simply measure and mark the center on each side and then line them up and draw a line and do the same going the opposite direction so that you can find the center. Then what you're going to do is go ahead and take your 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch and you go ahead and you find the center on that. Then you line one guy up on one side of the line in the center and you match that center line. And then go ahead and take your pencil and trace around the base. Okay. Then you do the same thing on the other side. I'm just going to make sure you line the center up. Go ahead and trace around the base. You need to make sure you get the corners because you're going to use those. So it looks like that. Okay, and then you're going to take your ruler and you're going to go from one corner to the diagonal corner. Draw a line. I'm going to do that in both boxes. So it looks like that. Now where those cross at the X, that's where you're going to drill your holes. Now on the bottom, you want to pick the two bottoms that are the flattest because we're going to be attaching them here. Now to find the center on these, you do the same thing. Take your ruler and draw a line from corner to corner. So you have an X, and the center of the X is where you're going to drill your pilot hole. Okay, so after the holes are drilled here and your pilot holes are drilled on the bottom, you're going to use a 1.5 inch flathead screw and screw in from the underneath into each of the wood. And then at the top, you're going to take a large staple and hammer it down so that it holds the top pieces together. So I'm going to take you into the garage and we're going to go ahead and do that. I had my dad help me with this part. You will need a 1/16 drill bit. Drill the two holes in the base. You will want to use a piece of scrap wood underneath so you don't damage your surface. Make sure to hold the base while drilling. Attach the countersink bit and drill until the screws sit flat. You'll need to change to a 11/64 bit and drill a pilot hole in the wood. Slip the screw through the hole in the base and screw it into place, making sure that it is in its correct position. To attach the other leg, line it up next to the first one and tap the top with a hammer. The screw will leave an indentation letting you know where to drill your second pilot hole. Take a large staple and hammer it into the top to secure it like this. Okay, so I have my base all together. The next thing that you're going to want to do is go over the legs and sand them down. Just go ahead and remove anything that's really rough so that you have a nice surface to paint. Now we're going to be painting the base black, and I just have apple barrel acrylic paint in black. And then on the elf, we're going to paint the legs holly branch green in apple barrel. And for the Santa's legs, you will need cardinal crimson in apple barrel. Okay, now I'm going to start by painting the legs. Now I just tend to put my paint right on my project. And then go ahead and give the legs a good coat of the paint. Make sure that you get good coverage. And then for Santa's mustache and beard, I used a little bit of puff paint in white. Dollar Tree does carry puff paint on occasion, so if you can find it, you can get it there. Otherwise, you can pick it up at Walmart. Okay, so go ahead and get your legs painted green all the way around, and then get the base painted black. I'm going to do that, let that dry, and then we'll be back. Okay, now I want to dress up my sign just a little bit to make him a little bit more festive. So I pulled out some white pom-poms. I have one large one to go at the end of his hat, and then some smaller ones to go across the front here. So I'm just going to hot glue those on. We'll dab a hot glue and put them in place. I really loved these signs when they came out. I was so happy to see them. And I'm going to put the big one on the end of his hat. Okay, and then I also have some of these glitter pom-poms. And they come in a package of variety of sizes. So I'm going to use the sparkly red at the tip of the shoes. Now, of course, this is optional. If you prefer to leave your sign plain, that's perfectly fine. You can do that. But when it comes to Christmas, I think things should always be a little bit more adorned. It makes it more festive. and it's only for this holiday, so. And then on the shoes here, they have little glitter dots. So on those glitter dots, I'm going to go ahead and glue down these small green pom-poms. Okay, so I got all my little pom-poms on my shoes. I'm really happy about that. I might add something up here, but I'm going to wait until I get him attached. I have the white ones across the top. And now I'm going to put some small green ones right around here around his hands. Okay, I think that looks really cute. It brings out his little hands. Now go ahead and set these aside so that they can fully dry. Okay, so I have my base all painted. I made sure to include the top, and I painted all the way around. The base is solid black, and the 2 pieces of wood are holly branch. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and attach the feet. And we're going to be doing that by using some of the Crafter's Square woodwork glue and some hot glue. Go ahead and put down a good amount of the craft glue. And this will give you the long-term hold, and the hot glue will give you a quick hold. So just get your feet on and get them as close to lined up as you can. Okay, next you're going to need some red felt. I picked this up from the Dollar Tree in the Crafter's Square section. And we're going to use this to make some shorts for our elf. Okay, so just unroll your felt and cut a piece that's about 7 inches. And then along the bottom, you're going to want to fold it up by about 1/2 inch. And then glue it down, just put a little bit of glue. And fold it over. Okay, so you have about 1/2 inch folded over. And now you need to decide how long you want his shorts to be. This is going to go on top. I think I'm going to have them go about there. Then just wrap it around. See, I have quite a bit of excess, so I'm going to go ahead and trim some of that off. Okay, so now for these to look like shorts, I'm going to glue them right where the seam is. So just run a bead of hot glue and then go ahead and push it in. Just like that, so it looks like they're shorts. Okay, then you're simply going to finish wrapping it and glue it down on the back. You want to use a little bit of the craft glue as well. Then you're going to fold this side over and fold it so you have a clean edge. And then hot glue that down. Okay, so you have a nice clean edge where it meets. At the top, if you have any excess, just trim off. You're going to fold it down, but like that piece was too big. And then go ahead and fold it in, trim off any excess, and glue it down. Okay, so that's what it should look like. So you have the crease, so it looks like pants. Everything is glued down and finished on the top, and even the back looks nice and clean. Now we're going to go ahead and attach the top part of the sign. You just need to make sure that you have at least a couple inches of the sign so that you get good adhesion. And then go ahead and attach your guy. You just need to hold it there for a little while and make sure that it sets up well. Okay, so then you're going to want to turn it over and go ahead and add some more glue all the way around the edges. You want to make sure that the sign is on there nice and secure. Okay, so my little standing elf is all done. I'm really happy with how he came out. And here is the Santa Claus. I think he is very cute. Now Santa stands about 2 feet and the elf stands at about 19 inches. Now the construction for Santa here is the same that I did for the elf. The only difference is for his clothing, I used one of the Santa hats from the Dollar Tree. All I did was I measured how much I needed of the top piece of the hat to cover his glittery hat. And then I trimmed it. And then I slid this over his head and glued it down. And I also folded over and glued down the pom-pom, and then I lined the edge with the small white pom-poms that you can get in a bag from the Dollar Tree. And then I had a little bit of greenery and some berries, so I added some at his hat and also some at the base. I also trimmed out the bottom of his socks in the little white pom-poms. And then for his coat here and his tails, I used the bottom half of the hat. You want to find where the seam is, where it has been stitched, and then you're going to go ahead and cut that section out after you've cut off the top. And then you're also going to want to cut where the rim is attached to the hat. That way you can fold the rim down, because you'll need to fold it like 2 or 3 times so that it gets thin like this. And then all I did was, once I got that down, I glued it down, and then I took that section and wrapped it around the wood, and I had them meet right at the seam, and I glued them down. Okay, so just wrap it around and then trim off anything extra. And then I just fold the ends in again so I have a clean edge, even on the red. And then I hot glued it right down the center so it looks like the seam on his coat. And then I also hot glued it all the way around the edge up here. Now for his little belt here, I just took some of the extra pieces that I had when I trimmed this to make it smaller, and I cut one longer piece and one smaller piece. And then I just hot glued those to the side so it looked like a belt. Then to finish it off, I just cut another extra piece that I had to cover the top and hot glued that down. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed today's Christmas DIYs. I had so much fun pulling together all of my Christmas crafts. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my future posts. Have a great day, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.